Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of Crash Course World History. Before I get into the video, I'd like to address the elephant in the room. Mr. Green is currently sick at home with the goat flu. Therefore, I'll be taking his place today in this video. Okay, back to the top. Hello everyone, my name is Donovan Fitch, and today we will be discussing the modern day cyber warfare versus the good old World War II espionage. But wait, Mr. Fitch, so what's the difference between the two? I always thought they were the same. Well, me from the past, the difference is that cyber warfare is a new and up-to-date way of how to gather information, since most of the world doesn't go off filing cabinets anymore, but now computers. Let's check to see if we have any open letters today. Ah yes, an open letter to computers. Dear computers, you really did update the old era of spying to the new one. Most of spying nowadays is done with you. So therefore, I appreciate all that you do. But I am here to tell you that you have many flaws. The cyber trail that you leave behind when you and the internet tag team is not a very helpful one, but yet dangerous. People now are able to look through everything that I have ever done, ever, on a computer. And so, I will leave it at that. Very short and very simple. Sincerely, Donovan Fitch. Now, let's first discuss the topic of cyber warfare. So many of you may know from prior knowledge that the government hires these certain people who have the skill set to hack and penetrate firewalls or security of an organization or on a larger scale, a country. There are two types of cyber warfare. The first is the espionage part, or tactic, and that is to obtain the private information, which may take a while depending on the operation, and is as secretive as possible, as you may know. An example of this type is when a man by the name of Edward Snowden, a hacker who is a former CIA agent, exploited the consistent illegal spying done by the U.S. Now the second tactic, which is a cyber attack. This is when the opposing side is just completely demolished by the hacker, since he or she is using malware or an exploited virus or encrypted virus to bug the opposing system. An example of this method is when an anonymous hacker group infiltrated hundreds of banks in multiple countries, gaining over $1.5 billion. Man, I guess I'll just do hacking for a living. A fun fact given to the internet by Paul Snozra, a tech insider for the BusinessInsider.com, states that there has nearly been 300 million records stolen and over $1 billion from businesses in 2015. Wow, that's more money than 100 times my house. Let's transition into our next topic: espionage during World War II and the Cold War. Espionage is the obtaining of private information from an individual or a group of people, and in these times was usually physically done on foot. This type of spying was used in a lot of wars was used in these wars by most of the countries in it. These spies would steal reserved files or conversations from the enemy targets. They used some really cool gadgets that included a pipe gun, a glove pistol, a dragonfly insectothopter, which had a camera on the top of a mechanical dragonfly, and the best of all, in my opinion, a seismic intruder detection device, which could detect any type of movement from 300 meters away. Also, they used a secret language or a written language to communicate back and forth with their employer. There are also two forms of this historic type of spying, and they are gathering intelligence and counter-espionage, or in other words, trickery. The first method, gathering information, is exactly what it says in the name, to gather information. The second type is to be a double agent, and to give your enemy false or misleading information so that your side will be one step ahead and further be ahead of the game. Thought bubble. Please show the audience how a spy obtains his files. As the spy enters the building, he has to secretly go through the door to get to the main entrance. He walks up the stairs very carefully, but notices that there's footsteps. He stops, checks the look, and continues. He finally gets to the top level where all the files are. He must check to see if there's anyone around. He walks into the office where the files are stored. Looks around. No one is there. As he goes in creeping, he finally finds the file cabinet. Opens the drawer. Grabs the file and leaves as quickly as possible. Mission complete.
Applause, applause, applause. I live for the